ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is Jennie with Mind and Body Collective.
Yes.
Yes, I got it right this time.
Yay.
I was here again. Um, Carrie recommended me to you. We actually just did a yoga meditation chakra class, which is actually really good. I actually feel really light right now. That is good.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're there's something to it. I mean, we're moving around, and I don't know, it was fun. I liked it. How'd you get into that?
Oh, well, I got postpartum depression after my first baby. And the medicine route did not work for me. And just like every great spiritual thing begins, like there's got to be another way.
Yeah.
And I had heard yoga was really, really good for mental, emotional, spiritual support. So I went to the local gym and been a gymnast, a dancer my whole life, into all sports. And so I thought, I'm going to rock this, be really awesome at yoga because that's, it's a competition. Total ego mind.
Yeah.
I didn't know yet. But in the final meditation, I was just sobbing. And I was looking around to see if anybody else was crying too. And nobody was, so I ran away really fast. But I continued coming back, and it's a cliche. Yoga saved my life. You've heard this before, and it's like cliche, but
it's true.
cliches are cliches for a reason.
Yeah, it's true.
They're true.
Yeah.
It really did save my life. And went and got certified and discovered that yoga means to yoke, body, mind, and spirit. And when your mind is traveling in all sorts of places, the past, the future, imaginary land, the spirit's like, hello, is anybody home? Hello. And so that first yoga class, I got to experience that union. And my spirit was like, oh, here she is. We're ready. And give you this information. And I just dove in.
Good.
And didn't ever look back.
Good. Do you think that was because you were in the present moment when you're doing that yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because yoga does that to you.
Yeah, it definitely does. I was like, definitely there.
Yeah.
I was there. Like, I was definitely there in the moment. I was like in the present moment, concentrating on my breath, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere else. I don't care what happens later today or tomorrow. I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. You brought me there.
Oh,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, that works.
It's my favorite. And that's why I wanted to teach, is because I knew I know I'm not the only one struggling with depression, anxiety, ADHD. I know I'm not the only one, and I found something that works for me. Who am I to just keep that to myself? That feels really selfish.
That's true. Yeah.
And I needed someone to come help me when I was there and be like, hey, I got you. There's more than just pills.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways. Let me show you, and let's try and see what works, and let's do it.
Very true. Wim Hof said your mind could be your worst enemy.
Oh, my goodness.
But it could also be your best friend.
Yeah.
It could be your best friend too.
Yeah.
Because it could cure you from all that stuff too if you know how to, properly work it.
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole purpose of meditation, right? Everybody's like, oh, I can't shut off my mind when they find out I'm a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
I can't quiet my brain. And I'm like, good job. That means you're alive. It's not the purpose of meditation. The purpose of meditation is to practice not letting your thoughts stop you.
From what? Anything
that you want to go do, right? Because scientists still don't know where thoughts come from.
That's very true.
Consciousness. Nope, what the heck is that?
They have no idea.
We just can't pin it down. But for some reason, we think a thought, and we think, because I thought it must be true.
No. And 50% of the thoughts that we had or past experiences are like over exaggerated or falsified in our own minds. Because of the emotion. That's the crazy part.
Right.
50%, half of it. So when something bad happened, it wasn't really that bad. You just thought it was. So you kind of got to check yourself with that meditation.
Yeah. So that's why I love and teach meditation so much, is because it's a chance to really sit with your thoughts and go, that's interesting. And what yoga calls the watcher. Just being the watcher and noticing, oh, wow, I really have a judgment. Oh, man, that's making my tummy turn. Oh, this is making me really excited. Oh, I don't like that thought at all. And you just sit and be with it, and because you're safe. I'm in my room. I'm on my chair, wherever you are. And it's a safe time to just explore the mind and let it kind of do its thing with just pure, like, I'm okay. And these are just thoughts, and they can't hurt me.
Yeah, they can't. They really can't. I mean, unless you allow it to hurt you. But you have that control, right, over your thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally love meditating. I do about 2 hours a day. We just did a meditation
We
class.
did.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it every morning when I wake up, and every night when I go to sleep and in between. Because I heard in the morning, there's that sweet spot when you have one foot in the dream state and one foot in the waking state. So you're able to, I don't know, tap into something. Maybe it's your subconscious, if you want to be scientific. Or, you know, you could say it's source. I call it the force.
I love it.
Yeah.
The force.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, because I do come from the science field. Before I turned in all hippie woo woo, I was all about psychology, physiology, kinesiology. I wanted to know about anatomy, our bodies, and I wanted to figure out. I was the fat girl on the drill team
Really?
in high school.
Oh, in high school. Okay.
140 pounds, the fat girl. But it psychologically really messed me up, right? And so I thought, okay, after high school, if I know all of the secrets to the body and how to eat right and move right and have the perfect body, I'm going to have the perfect life.
Or you could just learn to love yourself, and that would have been a lot better, right?
Oh, what a wild idea.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think that at that point in time. And, so I come from this science background. And then when I started to dive into this yoga world, the meditation world, metaphysical world, I always want to go, oh, this is this psychology. This makes sense because of that. And to be able to marry the hippie woo-woo with actual physical science is like my favorite thing when things come together. It's
Welcome to my podcast.
Yes, I know, it's
That's
so
why
exciting.
I titled it Magic or Science. The last couple people I did were brain surgeons. I mean, not brain surgeons, sorry. Well, one of them works with epilepsy, so he probes people's brains.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah. And the other one, they do sensation and the environment and sensation and what happens in between. So they probe people's brains too. And I was asking about consciousness, and they're having a little hard time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
It's hard to wrap anything around
it is.
consciousness.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's that's as they say, the last frontier. It's not space. It's the space in your head.
In the mind.
Yeah.
And between minds, between two minds when they meet. Because what I see of you is probably totally different of how you see you. And vice versa.
Probably. Actually, when we were meditating, and I was like, oh man, my stomach's a little bloated, and I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, nope, no, I'm completely fine. Yeah, it was in my head.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Well, so that's the solar plexus.
Yeah, the third one, right?
Yeah,
the
and
yellow
it's
one.
Ability to digest concepts and take what works for you and let go of what doesn't. And life experiences. Just like our digestive system takes nutrients from food and says, oh, I can use this and I can use this and I can use this. That rest of the stuff we can release. If we hold on to everything, creates a block problem. If we let everything go, we're not getting the nutrients we need. And so what concepts were you struggling digesting and releasing? What were you trying to hold on to?
That's very true. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I do it, but yeah, subconsciously, I probably do.
Well, just in that moment, right? And that's one of the things I'm like a total nerd about chakras. Like when I found chakras in yoga, I was like, this brings all my worlds together because this gives me the science of the different plexuses and the organs and glands. And then it gives me the emotions of each one and kind of this beautiful blueprint of my emotional structure, my emotional body, and how it links to my physical body. And so when I can look at something, very rarely when someone wakes up and they're like, oh, I got a kink in my neck. It's like, well, did you get a new pillow? Did you sleep on a new bed? Were you in a new place? And if their answer is no, it wasn't physical. You didn't sleep wrong. There's an emotion that you're having a hard time working through. Let's figure it out. And you can start to break it down to, your right side is typically your masculine side, your left side is your feminine. And then you can piece what chakra energy center it's in, and then go, okay, what's this emotion? How long has it been sitting there? And let's move through it and see how it feels. And it's wild how
I should do that.
It's like people think like, oh my gosh, are you psychic? And I'm like, well, maybe. But I just know these systems and how they work, and I just ask questions and they reveal themselves.
Yeah. Do you believe that the heart has a second mind?
Absolutely.
And the gut is the third mind?
I believe every organ in our body
Yeah.
has its own mind,
Yeah.
its own consciousness.
Yeah, that's probably true. But do you think the problem arises when they don't talk to each other properly?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything comes down to alignment and being in alignment, not only within yourself, but with whatever you want to call God, that higher consciousness, source, universe, light, energy,
The force.
the force. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like. I mean, yeah, a lot of people call it source.
Mhm.
Or you could call it God. I mean, like God, no problem with that. I like calling it the force because I
The
like
force.
I had a childhood,
Yeah.
curiosity to it, and I
Yeah.
love Star Wars, so
It's
Yeah.
the best.
it is.
We
but
just saw Doctor Strange this weekend.
that's awesome. How'd you like that?
It was dark.
Yeah, it was pretty dark.
It
It was
was
dark.
really dark.
Multiverses.
The multiverses, which is really interesting. There was a concept in there. I don't know, a spoiler alert. If
Yeah,
you haven't
it's
watched
okay.
it.
It'll be out in like 2 weeks. This episode,
Okay.
so yeah, sucks for you. I haven't seen it by then.
So if you don't want a spoiler alert, just pass through this. But they talked. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I saw
Okay.
it opening night, so yeah,
Oh,
you're not spoiling
yeah.
me.
So when they talked about our dreams, our other universes,
Yeah.
selves, I was like, what? Do I believe that concept? Could that be true? Like earlier, we were talking about like every time I read a book or we talk to somebody else, it's almost like we get more questions. We don't get more answers. We get more questions, but the questions get better.
Yeah, the questions do get better.
The questions get better. They
Yeah.
get deeper. They get more exciting.
Yeah.
To like, ooh, and to realize that you're never really gonna know.
Yeah.
It's sometimes frustrating, but also really exciting.
That's true. There's a show that I really liked. It's called Fringe. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like Fringe science. Like they study consciousness and all those crazy
Ooh,
stuff. So
okay.
they're like every time we get closer to the answer, someone changes the question. Yeah. So I like that saying that they say in there. That's
Yeah.
actually something that popped into my mind. Do you think it's weird that I don't dream?
That
Like, or I
you
don't
dream?
remember my dreams? Because you're on the topic of dreams.
No, I don't think so. My fiance doesn't, and so it was really
Yeah.
interesting because in there, the star America, she says, "Well, I don't dream, so I don't have parallel universe me's," and my fiance is like, "Oh, you think?" I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Yeah. How do you know? But I know that sometimes many times I've woken up and like I did not sleep at all. I was just traveling. And I've had to go to bed sometimes and I'll like literally like close my third eye like, okay, tonight we just sleep, okay? I just really need to rest. I don't want to travel. I don't want to learn anything new. I don't want to download. I just need to sleep. And so for him, we've worked on trying to open his third eye. So at night we'll be like, open sesame. You're going to have some dreams tonight. And he got his Reiki certification this year.
He did.
And
Good
he
for
had his
him.
first vision.
He had a vision.
Yeah. He had
Like a
his first
full-on
vision.
mystical vision.
Saw color, saw light, I've always been very visual. And so when I'm trying to explain things to him, he's just kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. And now he's like, I get it.
Yeah.
That was so amazing. He's just had like a handful now.
Good. So
But
he's a slow burn,
it's-
but he's getting warm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Nah, that's awesome. I've had a couple dreams, but I just mainly don't dream. Some people told me that there's something off about me. I was like, nah, I don't think so. Yeah. Talking about downloads.
Okay.
A lot of people talk about those. So downloads are the scientific term is called retrograde cognition. You know something without the possibility of knowing it. How do you think that works? Because it's definitely true. There's little kids that talk about past lives. There's little kids that are just like really wicked on musical instruments.
Yeah.
There's no way nobody taught them that. And
Right.
that takes years and years to train that. There's somehow they know things without the possibility of knowing it. And science really can't explain it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Personal belief that just like was a download that happened for me this year was everything is recycled. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
True. That's
but
physics.
it can be transformed. And so when I came onto this planet, the energy that created Jennie had to have come from somewhere, some place, something, someone, or some others. Like, who knows how many, right? And so when I have these downloads, these retrocognition.
Yeah, it's called retrocognition.
Retrocognition, that's a fun word.
Yeah. That's legitimately the scientific term for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Retrocognition. Yeah, I call them downloads, insights, inspirations, synchronicities, deja vu
Yeah.
is another one. Like, oh my gosh, I've been here before. I think what it is for me is a remembering, and our membranes, that energy that created me was something triggered it to be like, oh, this is us. We've been here before. I remember this. I know this. And it triggers in my membranes and I recognize it, recognize it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of my thought. But I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And the whole concept of past lives, I think I could wrap my brain around that with the idea that the energy that created me came from somewhere else. And there's just this memory of it now.
Yeah.
That's being brought up to light now and now and now and now. And I don't believe in mistakes. I don't think the energy that made me up was the exact energy that I needed with the exact memories that I needed to guide me on my path.
Good answer. I just want to get I'm just here to pick your brain. So you should, yeah. That's awesome.
I can talk about this stuff forever.
I mean, I could listen to you talk about it forever. Trust me, I'm into it. Okay, as far as meditation, we all know it helps people scientifically, can't deny it. You were talking earlier about how to meditate. Can you give us a little lowdown? What's like the proper way to meditate?
Oh boy. Okay, so there's a lot of different beliefs out there. There's a lot of different styles and techniques of meditation out there. There's a lot of people out there. So I don't think there's one right way.
Okay.
I think, when people find out, again, like I'm a yoga teacher or meditation teacher, they're like, oh yeah, I tried that. It's just not for me. And I'm like, well, how many classes did you try? What kind of classes did you try? What kind of meditations? What style? They're like, oh, I don't know. It's just something on YouTube, or I found a class, and I was like, you got to keep going. You got to keep trying. Find the one that fits you. I don't think there's one size fits all, because we are all so different. We all have so many different belief systems and backgrounds and body issues that, some people are like, you have to sit up straight. You have to, people that can sit in lotus pose. I've been doing yoga for like 19 years and I still can't sit in lotus pose.
Lotus pose as in like legs crossed?
No, when you like this, it's really, really fancy where you put, this one leg up here like this. Oh. And then you take that foot and put it up here. Like,
but isn't it more meditation about quieting your mind in a sense?
Well, so that's why I'm saying there's so many people who are like, oh, that's the only way. If you sit with just your legs crossed, you're cutting off the energy. It has to be in lotus pose. And I'm like, oh, well, then I know like probably 70% people can't meditate properly then, because so many people can't sit like that. So for me, I think what I teach is find what works for you.
Yeah.
There's silent meditation. Some people, like, they're just bombarded by noise and sound all day long. Just sitting and just being with your breath is so amazing.
Yeah.
For some people, I can't. My brain goes, and I need something to guide me. So there's guided meditations, just listening to music. My favorite was moving meditation. Yoga was my way to meditate. It was like getting out of my head into my body and into this space of just this breath, this movement, this breath, this movement. But gardening, washing the dishes, playing with your babies, there's so many different kinds of meditation. Really, my definition of meditation is connecting body, mind, and spirit.
Nice.
Being fully present.
Ooh.
With the breath, with the body, with the mind, which is yoga.
And you help people here do that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's
cool.
my teacher.
Good. I mean, I just did the class. It felt good. Yeah. The moving one, I think my body cramps a lot and my balance is off, but I'm just new at it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't tell myself I'm bad at it. I'm just new at it.
Yeah.
How can you be good at something you're new at?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and there's no bad meditation.
Thank you.
You show up. You did a great job.
Joe Dispenza taught me that.
Oh, there's no bad meditation. There's no bad yoga practice. You show up on the mat to practice, you are doing you're practicing.
Isn't like 95% just showing up?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So speaking on yoga, you seem like you know a lot about yoga. There's this term called samadhi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please elaborate on what that is and how I can reach samadhi?
Samadhi is bliss, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bliss.
And how can you reach it?
Or at least, how do the yogis explain it? Oh, yeah. So apparently it's like going into, just reaching bliss.
Yeah.
A state of nirvana, in a sense.
Yeah.
Through yoga.
Um,
Apparently there's like 4 limbs of it, or there's 4 levels.
there's 8 limbs of yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 limbs of yoga. This is one of the things I feel like one of my life's missions is to debunk that yoga is just about being able to bend and be like a pretzel and have a yoga body and a yoga butt. It kind of drives me crazy.
With the spandex and everything. Those girls,
Yes.
that Instagram girls.
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And it's artwork. But there's so much more to it. There's so much more to yoga than just being able to hold cool poses. That's only one of 8 limbs. Pranayama is a limb of yoga, which is breath work, life force.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah, and we did it in class tonight.
We did.
There's the yamas and niyamas, which I kind of, I like to tease are kind of like the 10 commandments of yoga, because there's the thou shalts and the thou shalt nots, like contentment and non-harm. So there's those, and then there's focus, being really focused on that thing that you're looking at, your drishti, your gaze, not just physically, but energetically, where your attention goes, energy flows. And then there's withdrawal of the senses and not being too attached to everything around you.
Well, what's that one? That one I want to get into. I mean, I've been trying to get into that a lot more. You just go in, right? Like you just go in.
Well, so one of my favorite, Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk. Have you read his book?
No.
I highly recommend. Really beautiful.
Think Like a Monk.
Think Like a Monk. Jay Shetty. Yeah.
I will look into that for sure.
Really good book. And he explained non-attachment to me in a way that I was like, I can get behind this, because I don't have to like swear off all of the luxuries. Like, I love really comfortable and cute, bright, colorful pants and clothes, and I love jewelry. And but do
you need them though?
I don't need them.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
So the way he explained non-attachment was like, yes, I can get behind this. He says, when you go on vacation and you're staying at a luxury home, Airbnb, you don't go there and be like, I'm leaving in 3 days, don't get attached. No, you soak up you like sit in the couch and you look at the views and you just soak it all in, because you know you're only going to be there for 3 days.
So you enjoy the present moment.
And you're just not attached to it because you know you're leaving in 3 days.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
But we really are visitors in the space. I might not get to see the space again. Can I really soak up everything about this space?
It's a beautiful space.
Thank you.
And I like the concrete.
Oh,
I like it. That's beautiful, like old school.
The exposed brick. Yep.
Yeah.
Built in the 1800s, this building. There's a lot of energy in here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, non-attachment, just not being attached to like possession, right? I have to have it and it's mine, because if it's mine, then someone can take it from me and then they're in control of my happiness.
And then doesn't that breed jealousy?
Yeah.
And jealousy breeds, what is it? Jealousy breeds anger. Anger breeds hate. And hate leads to the dark side.
There's a long path down, just spirals.
No, but otherwise, if you have all those stuff, or let's say you don't have as much as someone else, you might get jealous of them.
And I covet. I want what they have, which is one of the, I forget yamas and niyamas. I'm not like perfectly memorized.
That's okay. You're better than me, that's for sure.
Basic concepts. But bliss state, for me, bliss state is totally being fully present in the moment.
Yeah.
With whatever I'm doing, whoever I'm with, even if it's with myself, and just being so just happy to be alive.
Yeah.
So happy to be alive.
Gratitude.
Yeah, that's bliss. And, we talk about like a lot of religions talk about the concept of eternity and heaven and hell. And I recently left the faith that I was raised in, and I had to do a lot of work on this concept of heaven and hell. Like, am I damning myself to hell for eternity? Am I tearing my family apart for eternity? We're not going to be with each other. And when I really did work on it, I found that eternity is now, the ever-present now. This moment never ends, because it's always unfolding. And when I believe in suffering and pain and hate, jealousy, I'm in hell. When I believe that everybody is light and love and we're on the path that we're supposed to be on, even the contrast, even the shadow stuff is beautiful and has its purpose, I'm in heaven.
You're creating your own world.
I'm creating it now. And I mean, I can eternally be in heaven now,
Yeah.
now, or I can eternally be in hell now, 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 now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's a practice.
I mean, yeah. It's like rewiring your brain or reprogramming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to always think optimistically. Yeah, I like that. And I've noticed because I talk to people in healthcare industry, and the elderly people that are like healthy, they're in their 80s and 90s. They don't take any medication. They're like full of life. They're so happy. They're still working or just being productive, like on their farm, painting. She's like, "Oh, sweetie, I just got done with painting my porch for 4 hours." I was like, 94 years old. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah. I was like, okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, just be happy with life.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't even have to be think optimistic, think positive, right? Because we are human and we do have shadow sides. But even the shadow shows us things and teaches us things. And when we can bring light into that shadow, it's really beautiful. And embracing all of life's experiences, the good and the bad. And, even bad, is it really bad? Or is it just guiding you towards what you don't want more of? I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Okay, I'm going to move away from that and move more towards this thing that I do like. So, and usually we can't see that until hindsight, right? Looking back and going, oh, that actually was supposed to happen because it put me on this path this way. So there's a thing going around in the community called spiritual bypassing.
What is that?
And spiritual bypassing is basically like ignoring the bad and pretending it's only good. And like, I'm only going to focus on the good, only focus on the good. Don't look at no. Just look at the good, look at the good, look at the good.
How do you think that's good or bad or?
The spiritual bypassing?
Yeah.
I think it's detrimental.
Yeah, isn't it like a little bit of naivety? Like I acknowledge it's there, but like, you know what? I'm with the good. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bother me.
Yeah.
It's there. I'm aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna do my own thing here.
Yeah. So I think because we are human, we came into these human forms because we are supposed to experience all the human things. And that includes sorrow and pain and heartache and frustration and irritation and anger and jealousy, all those things.
And love.
And all the good things too. And so if we just ignore, the one side of the coin and only try to focus on this one, it's going to eventually come up and bite us. So there's a goddess, a Hindu goddess, Kali. Kali. Are you familiar with Kali?
She's not the one with 8 limbs, is she?
I think she has 6.
Oh, okay.
She's blue. And she typically has her tongue sticking out, dripping red blood. She has a necklace of severed heads and a belt of severed arms. And in every one of her hands, she has a weapon of some sort.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And she typically is depicted with her foot on a demon slightly in front of her.
I haven't noticed that, but cool.
Yeah. And it's because it's like, I've got my demons. I know my demons. And I've got them under my foot. Now, if it was behind her, the demon has a chance to escape without her knowledge and come up and bite her in the back, and scare her. But she's like, I see you, and I got you under my foot. So spiritual bypassing is not looking at the negative. It's not looking at our shadows. It's not looking at our negative patterns. It's just pretending and focusing only on the good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything's good. And in the end, that can come up to bite you because these patterns, these demons, so to speak, are really here to show us what we want by showing us what we don't want, what we don't like. And we came here to overcome some of these patterns, whether they're ancestral, whether it's just my own personal. That's what we came here to overcome. Like you don't get really nice biceps by lifting a fork of food to your mouth all day.
That's true.
Right? You have to do something heavier, more than it can carry, and do it more times than you really can for it to break the muscle down to then rebuild it to make it stronger. Like we have to have that breakdown. We have to have that ability to tear apart so that we can rebuild and be stronger and better than before.
Like adding stress to it in a sense.
Yeah.
You cool?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Right on. That's a good way to put it. I like it. One thing that just popped into my mind, you actually helped me manifest something during the meditation that we did. Can we talk a little more about manifestation, how it works? And by the way, if you guys need help with it, you should definitely come here. She'll definitely guide you. By what did you say? By taking a stake and just staking it to the ground.
Yeah.
That's an awesome concept.
Yeah.
So what do you think of manifestation? Do you think it's definitely possible? And
Oh,
how is? I mean, I know it's possible,
yeah.
and I know you do too. But
Mhm.
can you just elaborate a little more on what it is and how people can achieve it?
Yeah. Okay. Where do I want to take this one today?
And wherever you want to go, I'm here.
How do you feel about quantum physics?
Quantum physics. I feel it is a doorway to some of the things that people that have studied for thousands of years
Mm-hmm.
that science has shunned.
Mm-hmm.
It's the doorway you get in. Like the fact that just observing something
Mm-hmm.
can change it.
Yes, the
And
observer effect.
the observer effect, that's the
Uh-huh.
double slit experiments.
Uh-huh.
Trust me, I mean, I've gotten to this a lot. I think that is literally the doorway to like the Jedi Force. Literally,
Yeah.
as you could put it, like you
Yeah.
could move matter with
Uh-huh.
energy
Uh-huh.
or with your mind, and you could change the outcome
Yes.
based on your thought process. What really trips me out is how the past can affect the past. I mean, how the future can affect the past. That's a little beyond me.
I know. Like, that makes
Yeah.
my brain go, "Zzz,"
But
short circuit.
quantum physics, I'm talking to a couple of physicists, and I'm like,
Mm.
and they're like, how can we jump on your podcast? I'm like, well, what do you guys know? Like, do you guys know about quantum? It's like, yes, of course we do. I'm like, well, how does it work? They're like, oh, we don't know. Like, that's magic. I'm like, that's magic, bro. I'm like, literally, that's the definition of magic.
Yes.
But that's how I feel about it.
Okay. So, when it comes to manifesting, everything you see right now, including me, you are creating. So this is the observer effect.
This is my reality.
This is your reality. And so every day we are manifesting everything we see. There are 400 billion bits of information flying around this room right this second. But we see only 2,000.
Bits of information.
2,000. That's 1/10 of 1/1,000,000th of what is available.
Does that include things that we can't see? Is like energy, vibrations, solar?
Yeah, all of that are
All of that.
possibilities. And have you heard of the metaphysical text called A Course in Miracles?
No.
It's a really beautiful text. And they define a miracle as simply a shift in perception.
A shift in perception.
Shift in perception. And like when I read it way back when, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. And then when I started learning about quantum physics, I was like, well, duh, that's like me seeing like only this much of the room. And then now I see this and it looks totally different, even though I'm in the same room. I see it differently. That's a miracle. And we literally every day have, let's see, what's 400 billion minus 2,000. We have that many choices
Yeah.
to change the way we see everything. And like we were just talking about, where your attention goes, energy flows.
That-
And if you think of your eyes and your mind like a hose, and your world is your garden, whatever you're looking at, whatever you're thinking about, you're watering. Are you watering weeds? Are you watering flowers? Are you watering dirt? Are you watering, fruit that's going to serve you? What are you thinking about and what are you focusing on? You're going to get more of that. So every day, in every way, we're manifesting everything we see. And if you don't like it, and this is where it gets a little hard, because people are like, I wouldn't manifest that. And it's like, well, you didn't consciously. You just haven't learned yet how to, really consciously choose. We're kind of running on a feedback loop from like what depends on what psychologist you go with, but between the age of 7 and 9 is when our subconscious formed and was like, this is how the world is. And now anything that comes up, we're going to check this catalog back from between ages birth to 7 or 9 and go, what does it kind of look like? This is how we reacted. That worked great. Do it again. That didn't work. Maybe try this. We can change that.
Definitely, you can reprogram the mind for sure at any point of your life.
Yeah.
And you can do that here.
Yeah.
Actually, we did do that here. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like some people are like, I want more money. Like, what do you want the money for?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to have nicer things. Like, what do you want? What do you want with that? Like, oh, so I could relax. I'm like, okay, so you want money to relax? Like, why don't you just close your eyes and meditate?
Yeah.
Just relax, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be relaxed now. And this is something that Esther Hicks talks a lot about. Have you heard of Esther Hicks?
Esther Hicks is Abraham.
Yeah, she channels Abraham.
Yeah.
And
What do you? Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Finish that and we'll get into her.
Yeah, so she talks a lot about, well, most of the time, the reason we want a thing that we think we really want is because of the way we think we will feel in the having of it. But the trick is that you have to feel that
Yeah,
way
100%.
first before you can actually have it.
Well, I agree with you. Because, that goes back to Joe Dispenza. So apparently the old model is the Newtonian model.
Yeah.
Cause and effect.
Yep.
The quantum model
Mhm.
is your causing effect.
Mhm.
So the way I do it is I picture it in my mind's eye, of course. It already happened. How it would make me feel, the sensation, the happiness, me touching it, seeing it, tasting it,
Mhm.
and what emotions arise in me. And I'm like, I just kind of like just let it out. And then just it tends to happen more often than not. Yeah, I'm traveling a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm making more money. I'm healthier. Like, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a slow burn, but it's definitely burning.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we did in meditation tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go forward in future in time, set our stake in the ground, and then bring it back. What's that motion that you felt after receiving that thing that you think you want so much? And then how can you already realize where you have it in your life now and start to see more of it? Oh, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's a little harder concept to grasp at first. But then after a while, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because you're like, no, I need to work hard to make the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could do this and do that. And be like, or I could just bypass all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about what I really want. And you don't push it. Somehow you just pull it towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little, you just pull it towards you. So pretty much you're taking your future and you're bringing it to the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? You're there.
Yeah.
Or it's to you. Or somehow that falls into quantum physics. But yeah, it's there.
Yeah. Because time doesn't really exist.
Yeah. That's a different. We don't have that much time. But
what do you mean? We got all the time in the world. It doesn't exist.
That's true. Yeah.
There's only now.
Yeah.
No, I know, but
that's something I'm trying to wrap my mind around. There's abundance of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the past, present, and future all connected, and we're all connected.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, and there's science to back it up now. Like, there's
Yeah.
quantum mechanics. Like I said, that's like the doorway in.
Mm-hmm.
And like what?
Yeah.
Like the whole string theory. They just threw that stuff in the trash. Like, I was telling the quantum physicists, like, yeah, that string theory is like, man, that's old news. That's trash. I was like, what do you mean? That's like 30 years of work. They're like, yeah, we're wrong. I was like, okay. So.
Yeah. It moves it's so crazy. Well, in Einstein, like time can expand or contract depending on how you are in the moment, right? You put your hand on the hot stove, and you got to hold it there for a minute. That minute feels like eternity. But you're in a loving embrace with your beloved, a minute's nothing.
Yeah, that's your perception.
Yeah.
One example of that is, so yesterday I did a 15-minute ice bath up to my neck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like my personal record.
Nice.
Yeah, and well, growing up, my mom said always wear a sweater, this, that. It's cold. If you're in the water for 1 minute, you can get sick. If you're in there for 3, you'll get hypothermia. You might possibly die. Just went 15 minutes. No problem.
Yeah.
I was fine completely after. I mean, I was warming up for a few minutes by doing push-ups. Completely fine.
Do your Wim Hof breathing.
That was before.
Yeah,
and then we jumped in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was just listening to like a guided meditation, and like the first minute or two, of course, you shake, and then after that, it was just like gone. Next thing I know, it was like over. Like, really, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's you're right, different perceptions.
Yeah. Do you feel like you went into an altered state of consciousness, or were you just?
What? I was so present. Like, when you're in that ice bath, you can't move first of all. And you can't like really think about paying your bills and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a class I take where he's like, dude, just picture the white light. And I was doing my Kundalini breaths.
Yeah.
Actually with my chakras.
Yeah.
Because every time I do it, I just get hot, especially in my room. That's funny. So I kept doing it a couple of times, and like I was just trying to like pop, like we're talking about.
Pop.
Yeah. But I was like definitely like shaking, not in the cold shake, but like my head was shaking, and I was like, and after a couple of times, like you just went in the zone. It was just like there in the moment. Yeah.
Oh, I love stuff like that. It's so powerful.
You can't just jump in that ice bath and think about paying your bills and stuff. That at that point you're fighting it. You have to kind of like resist. That's how I've been taught.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever done it?
I've done cold river plunges.
Oof, I haven't done that.
Because ice not yet, but cold rivers. I do cold showers almost every time I shower.
Yeah, I mean at nights I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel kind of guilty not doing it though. But in the mornings, it just wakes me up.
Yeah. If you do it at nighttime, I wouldn't go to sleep for sure. But in the morning, it's so good for you.
Yeah, but it brings us back to perception because when you try to put your hand in there or put your body in there, your body fights it, and you're like, oh no, it's bad for you. Don't do that. But when like there's statistics and there's science that back it up, saying, hey, you know what's anti-inflammatory if you're in there for a couple minutes, then your body just naturally just becomes, just accepts it, and it does help you.
Yeah.
So
That's one thing I love about Wim Hof is that he doesn't just talk about the concepts.
does it.
He puts himself to the test. He has nodes picked up on him, but he even injected himself with
what they call it?
Ebola.
Ebola.
Yeah,
He did.
Ebola.
Well, no, they first injected his blood outside of him. I'm like, your blood cured it. They're like, that must be blood. He's like, no. And the scientist is like, can we just inject it? He's like, yeah, go for it. Why not? Yeah. And that'll pretty much kill somebody.
Yeah.
Or make them really sick.
And then he didn't get sick, and they're like, oh, well, you're just special. And he goes, let me train
12 people.
12 people, and you inject all of them. None of them got sick.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They really didn't.
Because breath is, that's why it's called pranayama, life force. It is the force of everything.
Is that a different type of yoga too?
It's
the
different
breath
kind of
work?
breathing, yeah.
Okay.
So just like there's different kinds of meditation and different kinds of physical yoga, there's different kinds of breathing techniques. And so the Wim Hof has one, and then there's so many different kinds that you can do. There's breath of fire, and there's alternate nose breath, there's bee breath, there's so many different kinds of breathing techniques, and they all have different purposes.
Have you heard of holotropic breathing?
Oh yeah, that stuff is
Do you know anyone
awesome.
that does it? I would really want to set that up.
Yes, actually,
Really?
yeah.
Really?
Tell
Tell us what that is, because most people probably don't know what that is.
So holotropic breathing is like basically getting high on your own air supply.
Yep, you get high on your own supply. You can't fire me from my coworkers watching this. You can't. It's in my head. The DMT trip.
DMT trip, yeah.
It's in my head.
Releases all on its own. It's so powerful. There's actually a woman, one of our practitioners here. She does breath work. She wouldn't label it as holotropic, but I have definitely had incredible visions with her sessions. And then I'm co-hosting a retreat in Tulum next month. And
Mexico. What am I saying? Canada.
Yeah, Mexico.
The other side. Yeah.
And one of the guys is one of the practitioners that's going to be co-hosting with us. He does holotropic breathing.
Is his name Michael?
No, Kaysen.
Kaysen. There's a famous guy in Los Angeles named Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, it is so powerful.
I've never done it. I want to do it. So maybe afterwards you can introduce me or give me that person's info.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So powerful.
How long do they do it for?
So all the breathwork sessions that I have done have been usually 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And you breathe pretty intense for about 20 to 30 of those. And then once you're in, you're in. And sometimes it's like that fast, and sometimes it lasts for like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. So when we're doing your class today, I forgot to say when we're doing the chakra, like when we're standing up, I got really lightheaded, and I thought that was cool. And it wasn't like me standing up getting lightheaded from it. I was pulling energy. I was like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, because we were pulling energy from the earth.
Yeah.
We were pulling the Mula Bandha, so it's creating those locks to pull that energy up towards the crown. Yeah.
That I don't want to say it scared me, but then it kind of did. Does that happen a lot? Like people because that's a new sensation for me.
Yeah.
And I had to stop it to ground myself.
Yeah. Our heads love to try to make sense of everything. And it's like, oh, this can't be okay. That's not normal. Oh, I'm getting lightheaded. That's dizzy. That's dangerous.
As a practitioner and instructor, how would you help someone get out of their own way? Because that's literally what happened to me. I got out of my own way. Right? That's literally like there's nobody else doing it to me.
Yeah. Like really, it is just practice. And like one thing I love about my classes is that there's dialogue, there's discussion. It's not just me up at the front talking. It's like, tell me your experience. How was that for you? Does that make sense? Do you have any questions? Let's work together. And the more you feel free to open up and talk and be like, hey, I'm experiencing this now. Because had you had said it then, we could have discussed it and gone through it and gone, how many other people felt this way? And usually you'll find people going like, oh yeah, I thought I was the only one.
I didn't want to cut off your class, but yeah, next time I will for sure.
Yeah. So it's all a learning experience, and if you're experiencing something that you're unsure of or that makes you uncomfortable, like let's talk about that. We live in this society where it's like, oh no, like this is spiritual bypassing, right? We're just going to pretend everything's okay. I'm going to pretend I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to pretend everything's fine. But in my head, I've got, well, what's that? Was that? What was that? And is that okay? Is this normal? And as soon as we can open up that dialogue and ask questions, you will find that because we all share this collective consciousness, you're not alone. You're not the only one experiencing that stuff. And oh my gosh, I experienced that last week. And what does that mean? You experience it now. Oh, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. I'm not blah, 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 blah. And then we create a community, and then the community feels safe to talk more openly about other things that have maybe not been safe. We've got, like right now in the world, it's just driving me crazy because everybody's like, you're this or you're that. And I'm like,
Oh yeah. But that's separating people.
yeah, it's all about separation. And
Yeah.
if you're this and I'm that, then we're against each other.
Automatically. Yeah.
But it's like, let's find the common grounds. Let's find the commonalities, and really everybody just wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel accepted. Everybody wants to feel seen and validated and heard and understood. And it's okay if we don't all agree. We don't have to agree. That's why this world is beautiful.
That's true.
It would be so boring if this painting was just all red and every stone was just red and everything was red. That would be so boring.
Yeah.
There needs to be contrast.
Definitely color, shapes. Yeah. I agree.
So, and they play so well together in paintings and in tapestries, but like for some reason we can't figure out how that works. So the right has to be versus the left, and the Republican versus the Democrat, and the pro-life versus the it's just like, stop.
Yeah.
And let's talk about it, and not to like try to sway you to see it my way, to like, why do you feel that way? Why do you believe that system? How does that work for you? Oh, you came from this kind of a family line. Oh, you had this kind of trauma in your childhood. I understand. That makes sense. And I can see that. Well, let me tell you where I'm coming from. And then let's find the commonalities there. And then we still may totally believe differently, but now we understand each other instead of going, you're wrong, I'm right. You're bad, I'm good.
And this is definitely a safe zone.
Yeah.
For people that want to come in and talk.
Yeah.
And do, I think that's why you probably guys started it.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, Carrie told me that. She's like, this is definitely, and when it is, definitely it is. Yeah, we were talking.
Yeah.
And I brought my coworker here. And and helped her out. She's like, thank you so much. She's like, that helped. She was stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't really want to talk. I mean, she told me some stuff that,
Yeah.
well, I was like, wow, really? But that's awesome, So it definitely helped her. That's how I found this place. She's the one that recommended it to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah.
Oh, high five.
Yeah. High five to coworker.
Yay, coworkers, rock.
And my last question.
'Kay.
Let's just say people are angry, they're frustrated or sad or depressed. What would be some advice other than coming here? What would be some advice you would be able to give them?
Okay, let me just tune in for a second.
Yeah.
Who's going to be listening? What do they need to hear?
The suspense.
Okay, you're not alone. I mean, that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You're really not alone. And that is probably one of the biggest lies. When I was going through postpartum depression and all of my struggles after having children, just emotionally, mentally, I felt so ashamed and so wrong, and I didn't want anybody else to know.
But wasn't it your fault?
Right? But no,
Yeah.
something's wrong with me. And you can't, you don't want to tell anybody that something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But when I finally did have that courage to be like, hey, something's not right, I need help. So many people came to my side.
Good.
So many people said, I've been there. You're not alone. I know how you feel. This is what helped me. And so when we can, that's just total ego, right?
Yeah, it is.
I've got to have it all figured out. And I remember, was driving down the street. It was like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and I was driving down the street and I was watching somebody do yard work, and they were doing something really weird. I don't remember what it was, but I remember going, that's interesting. Huh. And they were older than me. They were like super gray haired and like older, like
Okay.
great grandparents.
Okay.
And I was just like, they've lived a lot longer than I have, and they are doing that really weird way.
Were they having fun doing it?
I don't think anybody really knows what the heck they're doing here.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just trying to figure it out as we go. Oh, I got to rake the leaves. I guess I'm going to try it this way. Like, I don't remember what they were doing, but it was some yard work that was just like, huh, it's interesting. And if they haven't got it figured out yet, and they've lived, probably 20, 30 years longer than I have, what makes me think I'm supposed to have it all figured out?
Okay.
And like, the more I learn, the less I realize I know.
Yeah. That's
Right?
humility, and that's you becoming more awakened.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, we used to, I should say me personally, used to run around thinking I had to have it all together. I had to know.
What does that even mean, though?
Right? What does that even
That-
mean?
For have it all together, like have what all together?
You're like perfectly polished, like,
You mean like
you
picket
gotta,
fence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's got to look a certain way. You got to have the right kind of, answers when somebody asks you, and heaven forbid you say, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling with my mental health right now.
God
I
forbid.
need help.
But once you did, people came to your help.
But once you do, all the walls come down and everybody comes to your aid, and everybody tells you how much they love you and how much you've helped them and support you. And it's so beautiful to find like this community. And that's one of the main reasons we built this, was
That's awesome.
because all of us had our own moment where we had to be like, help, I can't do this anymore. I can't pretend to be something I'm not anymore. And I know this is breaking all the rules in society, but I can't do that anymore. And we have all found each other, and that's why we're
Good.
called the collective. And I have tools, that Carrie doesn't have, and Carrie's got tools that I don't have, and we work together and we make this place better because of my weakness is her strength,
Nice.
and her weakness is my strength, and vice versa. And it's so beautiful to find that in a community, and she believes completely different things than I believe, but we have these commonalities that
And you guys are both awesome
bring
and
us
very
together.
welcoming.
Oh,
By
thank
the
you.
way, yeah, you are. And this place is in Ogden, in Utah. If you're
Yeah.
ever out here, definitely drop by. Take one of the classes. I'll post your information down
Awesome.
below.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
my podcast. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
We do also have an online community,
Oh, you do?
just because we're like, this has got to be more than just local people.
Cool.
So we do an online, it's called Rising. It's an online group healing program, and we get together and we talk and we meditate and we breathe and we just work together. And it's not, Jasmine and I are the leaders of it, but it is very much a discussion based thing. And what are you going through? What are you needing help with? And hey, this is what I'm going through this week. Do you guys have any, suggestions for me? Like, we're very much on the journey with them because we're still human.
That's true. Yeah, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a great way to end this episode.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you for
Yes.
coming, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and subscribe, and I will leave your information down below.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.